some date. And after that, in the external stage location, right, how the customer file is actually coming in, customer underscore some date value, then dot csv. So this is external stage slash customer underscore, and focus on this part, how we are getting that date value, because date could be the current date based on the execution if user is not providing any date value, but it could be any custom date if user is providing the value. So the previous operator, right, the previous get execution date operator, it has pushed this thing, right, whatever this Python operator is getting in the form of return value from this particular function, it is returning or it is pushing as it is in the XCOM. So based on the task ID, which was guest execution date, we are simply fetching the value which was published in the XCOM, ultimately that date value. So customer underscore YYYMMDD dot CSV. So this external stage is basically pointing to this CSV file. So here we need to mention what will be the format as well, right? We need to mention the format. There could be other properties as well, which we need to friend, because in this merge query, we are directly reading the data from the stage. We are referring the data stage, and referring to a external stage is more like you are trying to read the data directly from an external file. So you need to define the properties, that what kind of file format it is, whether header is there or not, right? And any other property you want to mention. So same thing we are doing here, file format equals to CSV format, and this CSV format is something which we have already created here, right? Create file format, CSV format, type equals to CSV. So this is what we have created here. And now if you look at this part only, so this is like the merge query we performed on the delta tables. So merge into customer dim as target, and now inside this using this data as the source. Okay, so here when you are trying to read the data from the file, and you know that in your customer files there are no headers. So when you try to read any file from the external stage without any header, so by default your columns can be identified by the sequence number, like the 1 2 3 4, and using the dollar operation you can get the value of that one. So when you are referring $1 means you are actually referring the first column, $2 second column, $3 this one. So same thing we are doing here, the dollar operation, which is this one, the $1 as customer ID, $2 as name, $3 as email, $4 as a phone. Okay, so this is how we are doing it. And what is that thing we have in the merge condition means the customer ID should be equals, and we are always interested to match with the current record, or like if you remember, based on the effective date and the end date, we can get whether this is the latest record. If this is the latest record, then we are only supposed to update that one, not anything else. So this is what we are trying to find the match. And once the match on the customer ID has been found, we are trying to update only when the target or source name is not matching, means there is a change between the target, there is a change of name in the target table and the source table, means some change has occurred, so we need to update the value in the target table, or the email ID has changed, or the phone number has changed. That is why we are checking the not equality condition. And if that is the case, then we are simply updating those values in the target table. So this is how we are first running the merge part to update the values. And after doing this, we simply want to ingest the source data as it is with the is current flag equals to true, because this one will be the latest record in the target table now. So after doing the merge customer dimension, we are running this insert customer dimension. So same way, very simple thing, insert into command, and as it is, we are just publishing it. There will be no end date, and is current will be true. And as it is, we are running the insert into command, reading from the staging, right, wherever the stage is pointing to, reading the data directly from there and dumping it into the target table, right? So now this is done, and the last part, which is running our Spark job, right, on the data proc cluster. So this is the thing also, we have done it already. So we already have our dedicated cluster running, which is this one, Hadoop cluster new. So we have simply copied that one, the cluster name, project ID, and the region of our data proc cluster. Okay. And then we are also creating a variable for the path of our Spark job. So if you look at this one in this location, right, I have the folder, okay, Snowflake projects. So here, if you look at this car rentals data, this bucket, okay. So in this bucket, I have a folder named as the Spark job, and this is the place where I will be putting that Spark job which I have created. Okay, so that is the exact path location I am mentioning here. Now, another task, which is submit PySpark job using this operator. So task ID, this one, and what is the main file? Main file means our main Spark code. So it is located here. So that is what we are mentioning here. And now in the arguments. So in the arguments, I am passing this hyphen date equals to y by mmdd value, whatever it is. Okay. So hyphen date, and we are passing it. That means our Spark job is actually accepting this hyphen date parameter, and based on that one, it will try to read the file from the defined GS location, and from there it will try to execute it. Okay. So that is the argument. Now the cluster name, region, project ID, tag, and now the data proc jars. So as I already mentioned, here from our Spark job, we will try to read the data from the Snowflake tables. We will try to write the data into the Snowflake tables. So we need the jar files. Okay. So what we are going to do here, we are trying to keep those jar files already in some Google storage location. We will download it and we will place it in that Google storage location, and we will pass the list of those jar files, the list of the path basically. So in this case, what will happen as soon as we are running the Spark submit job, right? And running the Spark submit job means wherever your executors are running, these jar files should be available there, so that your executor knows about the jar files and they will be able to execute your code. If these jar files are not available on the executors, then your code will start failing and you will not be able to execute it. So data proc jars, as you can see here, this is the particular location where I have placed these two files, these two jar files. So let me talk about it and let me show you how you can download it. So this is Snowflake jars, right? This folder in the bucket I have already created. So you can see this is the Snowflake JDBC jar file, and one more, which is this one, right? Spark Snowflake jar file. So what you can do, you can simply type this thing, Spark Snowflake jar Maven. Okay, so just do this thing and you will see this first link, Spark, Snowflake, this one. And the stable one, what you can refer is this one, 2.15, and this Spark 3.4, and Scala version on our data proc is 2.12. So just click on this one and this one, right? This is the Maven coordinate basically, right? 2.15.0 is Spark 3.4. So this is the entire Maven coordinate. And here you can see the link for jar. So as soon as you click on the jar, it will basically download this jar file in your local, as I am showing you this one, Spark Snowflake jar file. And then you can simply upload from your local to this Google storage location. Similarly, Snowflake JDBC jar file. So this is the jar file. Basically, you need to Snowflake JDBC jar, right? So this one, JDBC Snowflake JDBC driver from the Maven. So focus on this version 3.6.0. So just click on this one 3.16.0, and here as well you can see this jar file. So just click on that one and you can use this jar file and it will be downloaded in your local, and then you can simply put it here, right? You can upload it here 3.16.0 jar file. Okay, so your jar setup is there and you have seen how your Airflow job is running the merge query, then how it is running the insert query to complete the SCD2 on the customer dimension, and then how you are running your Spark job. So what we are doing in our Spark job, right? So that is the next thing we are going to look at. So let's quickly go to our Spark job and let's see from here. So here we have our Spark session. So since we are already passing the jar files, so you can ignore this part. I will comment it. This is not needed. So at the end, what you simply need to do in your Spark job, right? Just comment out this thing. Just you simply need this thing, right? This part. You simply need the Spark session because from the Spark submit, you are already passing those jar files. So there is no need to put those jar files path list in your session builder itself, right? So there is no need for that one. Okay, so now Spark session dot builder, and after that, this Google storage file path, right? So that is the location car rental daily, where right, we are getting the rental daily bookings file and car rental underscore date dot JSON. So from this, from where this date is actually coming in, so this is the process car rental data function, and this is being called from our main function. And again, our main function is using the argument parser. We have already done this type of exercise, right, in the like Spark code when we were running it from the Airflow. So same thing we are doing here using the argument parser. We are getting the value of this hyphen hyphen date parameter. We are passing that one in this particular function, and this function is basically building our Spark session, and it will prepare our Google storage file which we want to read in our Spark code, right? And then based on that one, we are simply reading the JSON data in the data frame form. So we are reading this data, and on this raw data frame we are applying some validations, right? We are just filtering those records where rental ID, customer ID, the car model, year, rental period, start date, end date, all these things are not null. So that kind of validation we are simply applying here. So this is our validated data frame. And then what we are doing, we are simply deriving a few things. We are applying some transformations. So first transformation, we are calculating the rental duration. So rental duration means the subtraction of the end date minus start date in terms of the days. That is going to be our rental duration in terms of the days. So date diff function, we are simply using date diff function, and we are applying this thing. we have this transformed data frame. And after this, we, based on this rental duration days, we are actually deriving few more columns, right? So deriving few more columns like this total rental amount. So it will be amount into quantity, average daily rental amount. So whatever is the total rental amount based on the rental duration days, we are calculating the per day average of the rental, and we are also deriving a flag like whether it's a long rental or not. So if rental duration days is greater than 7 or something, then we are going to call it like a long rental if it's more than a week. And now this is the part, right? At the end, what we want to do from the Spark, we want to read the tables, right? We have the dimension tables of car, location, date, customer, right? And the fact in the Snowflake. So we simply want to read the data from there, and we will be writing as well. So how we are going to do it? Let's look at that part. So Snowflake options. So from your Spark, whenever you want to read or write, obviously your Spark read or write object would need Snowflake related authentication parameters, right? So for that one, this is how you are going to prepare it, a Snowflake option. So URL, the account, user, password, database, schema, warehouse, and the role. So how you are going to get your Salesforce URL? So if you come to your activation email, right? So starting from this till this .com, right? That is going to be your Salesforce login URL. And then the account. So this value is basically the account value. Then username and password, whatever you created in the beginning. Then the database, right? Where from where you are going to read or write, right? Using the Spark from the Snowflake. Then schema, warehouse, and the role. And source name is Snowflake, right? So let's see how we are going to do it. It's very similar, right? When you are reading the delta tables in the Spark code, so how you are doing it. So spark.read format was the delta, and that is how you are simply reading or writing. So here format is going to be this Snowflake, okay? So car dimension spark.read format is the Snowflake, and here you are passing this dictionary, right? You are passing all these key value parameters. So you prepared this dictionary and you are passing it with the double star, means in the form of key value pairs. Those will be passed as an option. And then the database table name is the car dimension, right? So car dimension is the table name where the cars related data is there. So we are reading it, we are creating the data frame of it. Similarly, we are reading the location dimension data frame. We are creating the date dimension data frame. We are creating the customer dimension data frame, right? Now, after doing this, previously we had our transformed data frame, right? Transformed data frame, and we will try to join, right? We will try to perform multiple joins to get the location information, to get the car information, to get the date information. So multiple join operation we need to perform. So here you can see transformed DF. We are performing the join with the car dimension on this particular keys, on these particular attributes. And after the join operation, we are selecting the raw data attributes along with the customer dimension attributes. And after that one, right, this will be the updated fact DF. Now this updated fact DF, we are simply joining it with the location dimension table on the pickup location. First, we will apply on the pickup location ID so that the ID can be populated for the pickup location. Then we will join it on the drop off location so that ID can be generated for the drop off location. And then we are joining it with the date dimension table to get the key for the start date, and similarly to get the key for the end date. So based on the start date value, between the raw table and the dimension table. We are joining it and we are selecting the attributes accordingly. And then after that, we are joining it with the customer based on the customer ID to get the value for the customer key to populate in the fact table. And after doing all these joins from our final updated data frame, we are actually keeping those column values which are of our need, like rental ID, customer key, right, car key, and all these, so that we are going to have this data frame. And after doing this, we are simply writing this data into this particular rental facts table in the append mode using this Snowflake source and the properties. Okay, so this is how our Spark job is going to work. And now talking about our Airflow job, which we have here again. So here, as I already told you, that we are simply using this Snowflake connection v2. Okay, so how I prepared it, it was very simple to do that, right? So in the connections, you can simply go to connections. You can simply clone the information of any connection, right? So let's say if I select this Snowflake connection, because I only had to change the database name, right? So that all the queries which I am doing in my PIs, let's say Airflow operators, right? Whatever queries I'm running, it is simply pointing to that dedicated database name and its public schema. So here in the actions, you can see this duplicate option, right? So you can click on the duplicate and it will create a duplicate connection and you can just update the value inside that one. So here you can see, right, it has created it, Snowflake connection copy one. You can just simply click on the edit part and you can come here, you can change the database name car rentals and simply this will be created. So in the same way, I basically created my Snowflake connection v2. I simply updated the database name there, nothing else. Okay, so let's come back here. I don't need this one and let's simply delete it. Okay, so that is Snowflake part is done. We have set up our tables, right? We have set up our Airflow job. Okay, so let's come to our DAG and yeah, DAG is also fine. We have updated our code. So now after doing all these things, you simply need to upload your Airflow tag code here. So car rentals tag.py, and you need to upload your Spark code here, right? Spark job, right? So both of the things are already done. I have uploaded it and my tag is already created. So I'm simply going to run this one, right? Let's simply execute this tag and let's see how it is working. Okay. So yeah, let's execute it and let me just revisit. Is anything missing? No. So what is missing that we have not uploaded any files. So before running it, what we can simply do, we can upload the files here inside this one. So let me upload the car rentals daily. So car rentals, this one, let's say this JSON data I have uploaded and customers daily data. So upload files. This one customers daily data. So customers, this one we have uploaded in the customers daily data, and then we have the car rental daily. This one car rental this thing dot JSON. So this is uploaded. Now if we try to execute our DAG, we will be passing this paid parameter so that these particular files can be picked. And let's say you are processing the daily files. So in that case, what you will see that only that particular day file is getting picked and only that will get ingested and executed. So here, if I simply come here and open this tag, so let's click on this trigger tag, and here it will ask me for the date. So 2024-08-04, let's click on the trigger. So yeah. So let it run. So if we see the graph, so now merge customer dimension step is running. Now this PySpark job is getting executed. It has started executing. And if I come here, I open the web interfaces, the yarn. So yeah, this is running. You can see our job has been submitted and it has started executing. And let's give it a moment to get completed. Cool. This is also executed. And now we can check our customer dimension table, which we truncated earlier and no data was there. So let's see, we have this thing in the customers, right? We have this is the effective date, end date, right? All these things. This is the current record. So now if we will process a new file, new data with some changes, so you already know that how SCD2 is going to work. It will just populate this end date with the effective date of the current record, and the is current will be marked false for that updated record. Okay. Similarly, let's say what we have in the rental facts. So let's run it. So yeah, here you can see, right, how we are preparing the facts here based on the total rental, average, total rental duration, right? So this is how we are creating our fact table. Okay, so this is how now you can schedule your job. So automatically it will keep on processing daily data. If the daily data is getting placed in those locations which I was talking about, if that is not the case, then it can simply process if we are providing the date value from our side, right, while running the job. Okay, so that is the thing. That is how it is going to work. Okay, now let's quickly look at two remaining things. That is the snow park. And once I quickly explain the snow park, I will quickly show you that Streamlit application which I have deployed. So coming on to that one. So trying to let's try to understand about the snow park. First of all, don't get confused, and sometimes it feels confusing because when we take a name like snow park, what people understand that it is basically like trying to run the Spark job on the Snowflake. That is why we are calling it as a Snowpark something. No, that is not the case. Snowpark is basically a Python package dedicatedly designed for Snowflake itself. So let's say we are creating the SQL sheets, okay, and in the SQL sheets we are writing the SQL queries to work with, right? We are creating the like we are creating the SQL sheets basically to create the table and then create the stage integration, this and that. So all those things like with the help of simple SQL statements. But someone who is not that much comfortable with the SQL, let's say, and want to do all these things with their comfort language like the Python. Okay. So in that case, what Snowflake did, they have basically created a Python package named as the Snowpark, right? So when you basically use the Snowpark, it basically gives you a feel of the PySpark or the Pandas. It will be using the same concepts like that, creating the session. Once you create the session, you can load the data from the Snowflake table. You can read the data from there. You can write the data. You can apply the Spark like transformations, filters, aggregation, and all that. So because of that reason, right, it gives you that seamless feel to develop and to work with the Snowflake tables. That is why we are calling it as a Snowpark. Okay, so let's quickly look at the small like let's quickly look at the small part of it, like how you can simply use it. So this is very straightforward. Let's say you are working on your laptop and you want to write a simple Python script which can basically read some data from the Snowflake table. So there are two ways, like you have the open source Snowflake connector as well. So you can use that Snowflake connector. You can provide these URL details, username, password, and you can simply make a JDBC connection to Snowflake and read, perform the SQL queries just like a typical Python program. Okay. On the other hand, if you do want to do it in that way, right, that way of um, like the data frame, like pointing to the tables and these things, in that case, you can simply use this Snowpark Python package, and then like you can provide the connection details if you are running it from your local. But if you are creating the Python sheets, right, or the notebook, for an example, on the Snowflake there. So when you create the Jupyter notebook, let's say on the data proc, right, what happens? It will already have a Spark session created for you, which you can simply start using. So now when you create a notebook here in the Snowflake, it will have the Snowpark session already created for you. Creating the Snowpark session is nothing but connecting to the desired database and schema. That is the main purpose of this session part within your Snowpark code. That's it. So once I will explain it with an example, you will get the better idea. So what I am going to have it here. So if I come here and let's say go to the notebooks, right? So here you have the option here as well to create a notebook, plus sign, create the notebook, new notebook. Okay. So once you click on the new notebook, right, you can see it is asking, it is giving you different options like test notebook, right? So look at this part. So in the notebook, it is asking you this thing, the choose database, right? Choose database, which is anything, let's say movies or something, and public. So now here, this particular location database name, and you have attached a notebook warehouse. And once you click on create, so your notebook will be created and a default session will be available for you. What will be that session? This one, right? Your, let's say, the database name and public. So that session which will get created by default, right, that is nothing but a simple you can see a simple connection which has been created, and now that session can be used to point different tables and stages or the views, whatever you have created within that database. So here if I let's say close this one, I have already created a notebook and I will simply take you there and will execute those things. Okay, so let me open that notebook. So now here, this is actually not needed, right? I have just kept it for your understanding. So the point I was saying, right, when you want to, let's say, work with the Snowflake tables from your local, let's say, laptop, right? You are trying to do it there. Okay. And now what you can basically do, you can install this Snowflake Snowpark Python. So once you install it, right, you can basically work with the Snowflake tables in this way, right, as just like the data frame. So this line I have kept it here for the understanding. This is actually not needed. So I will comment it out. I will also put a comment, install this if running somewhere else. Okay. So first you need to install it, then you will be able to use this Snowpark library. Okay. So here, what we are going to do it, let's forget about this Streamlit as of now, right? No need of this one. And here we have the pandas library. So now this is the point I was talking about. Okay. So as soon as you create a notebook, right? As soon as you create a notebook, right, what will happen? Creating a notebook, and there we attach the database name and the schema name. So it has created a session. Now what we are doing here, from snowflake dot snowpark dot context, we are trying to get the active session, right? So that active session we will simply use, and we will work as it is. So this is for the default like notebook which gets created on the Snowflake itself. But as I said, if you are trying to do it like in this way in your local laptop, you have the Jupyter notebook. Now you want to work with the, let's say you want to work with the uh, Snowflake tables, read, write, and transformation and all that. So there, what you can simply do, you can install these things, pip install Snowflake, Snowpark, Python. And after that, what you need to do, just like you build the Spark session, right? Just like you build the Spark session. So you have seen this kind of difference. So if you have a data proc, you open the Jupyter Lab, your Spark session is already created. So same scenario here. If you create your notebook here in the, let's say Snowflake, and you define the particular, you simply define the database name and the schema name. So in that case, your active session will already be created and you simply need to use that one. But if that is not the case, you are doing it from somewhere else, you are writing your Spark application from the scratch. Okay. In that case, you need to create your own session. So that is the thing needs to be done. That is why I have placed this dummy code. So what you need to do is from Snowflake, Snowpark import session, and then you are creating the connection parameter like the URL, account, password, role, warehouse, database, schema, and then you are creating your session objects like session.builder.configs.create, and you are creating the session object so that you can use it moving forward. Okay. So yeah, that is about the session part. And now after that, you can see things are very seamless, because when I created this notebook, I attached the movies database and the public schema. So here I am getting the active session. And after that, right, let me run this particular shell. So the way you run your Jupyter Notebook shell, in the same way we are running it here, shift enter. So let it start, let it run. Okay, so this is executed. Our session is there now. Now here you can see simply by referring the session object, I am calling the table method, and here I am simply mentioning the table name. Since this notebook already points to that session where it is all about the movies database and this particular table inside that one. So this data frame we have created session.table. So a particular data frame will get created. And now if I simply run it, right, you will see that this is the data frame we are getting. So that's what I was saying. After creating your session, it becomes like a complete Spark or the Pandas kind of operations for you, which you can simply do, and you can simply get that one. Okay. So after getting the data frame, you can see here from the Snowflake, Snowpark functions, uh, we are importing the column lit and when. So here you can see we are doing some transformation like filter transformation on the completed one, and then we are deriving a new column. You can see with underscore column. So kind of same terminology, same naming convention it is trying to use, but again, don't think like this is a particular another distributed computation environment, because here whatever you are writing, the Spark session and all that you are creating, these statements are going to get executed on the Snowflake warehouse, right? These statements are going to get executed on the Snowflake warehouse. So whatever distributed computation it does, it will follow that one. It is not like another, you can say, that's what I said. It is not your another, uh, uh, another PySpark or Spark kind of object or the framework basically. So here, if I run this thing, you will see this is getting right transformed. And now here, this example, if you simply want to write this transformed data, so transform df dot write save as table. And here I can basically Snowpark, right? I can give this one. So what, as soon as I run this shell, it will simply create that particular table, right? So it is created there. And now you can see, again, we are doing few aggregation functions. So it's like, that was the only thing to explain here. Like if you want to use the Snowpark, how you are supposed to use, after that, it is all about the Snowpark library kind of follow the same naming convention, the method names, and based on that one, you can simply use it, and you can simply derive any transformation. You can write the data anywhere, and that is how it is simply working on, not more than that one. So now, since I have explained the Snowpark, I can quickly take you to that one. I can quickly take you to that Streamlit. Okay, and let me show you how that is created. So let me take you there. Exit. Okay, so here I have created a notebook here. Here I have created a Streamlit application, but let me quickly show you that once you are starting any application, it will create a template for you. After that, it is all about your understanding of, after that, it is all about your understanding of what I should say, writing the Streamlit code using the Streamlit library. If you know that, it's very easy. It is just creating the interfaces for you. So let me quickly show you the template, right? When you do that. So let's click on the Streamlit app. And here, first app. Okay. Now, here you can see, choose the database. Let's say movies database public. So here we are creating our Streamlit application, which is pointing to this one, like in which data base it is going to get created, right? In which database that is going to get created, and the warehouse where it is going to get deployed. Okay, so let's click on this create. So here you can see, right? It has created a template, right? It has created a simple template, and it is simply deploying our application on that warehouse wherever it is running. So here you can see it's a simple Streamlit code, and we are simply, let's say, importing the Streamlit library, and we are also working with the Snowpark. So here Snowpark is helping us to create the dummy data frames, and this is how all these UI web interfaces are coming up. So we created the Snowflake, we created the Streamlit application, and there we simply attached it with the database and the schema name, and then after that we simply deployed it. So deploying it means it has been deployed on that warehouse which we have attached. And now everything, whatever you are doing here, you are simply creating a web based dashboard. You can control it on your own. You can provide any specific filter parameter. You can locate it in any way you want. And it is all about the code. You are simply writing your Streamlit code here so that your interface is prepared. And based on that one, right, you will see the changes here as soon as your data is getting updated in the source table, right, you will see that things are getting reflected as a change here because you have created your Streamlit application, and you are basically fetching the data based on the snowpark, and you are populating all those things. Okay, so yeah, let's quickly look at into this thing. Right, so here you can see Streamlit.title. So this is the title, right? Example, Streamlit application, Streamlit.write. So writing any content. Then here you can see we have the session, and using this Streamlit dot slider, right? We are creating this slider object. So it's, as I said, it is all about the Streamlit application. If you know how to use it, right, you can create these different parameters. So this is the slider. So whatever changes you are going to do based on that one, you can see, right, based on this one, these values are getting changed because you have created a slider, and based on this slider you have simply put it there, right, the particular what I should say, you based on this particular slider, you are feeding this particular variable, and in the next dashboard, right, whatever you are creating, there you have simply put this thing. The next one you have created, there you are feeding these values. So if you are changing anything here, the value is getting updated here, and in the real time changes are going to get reflected here as well. Okay. So this is how it is coming in, but let me quickly show you the Streamlit application which I have created. So let's come here and let's come back, and this one. Okay, so here you can see this is the Streamlit application I have created. So I have created different you can say boxes here, summary statistics, right, total booking, right, and here you can see there is a filter on the date range, there is a filter on the status as well. So if I simply put the booked, right, so here it will change for the booked only, and now here if I put the completed, so all these insights are basically getting changed for the completed bookings. Okay. So now what is the code behind it, how it is working? So if you go to this edit part, right? So same thing, using the Streamlit library and using the Snowpark, we are basically using both of them together, creating these dashboards. Okay. So let's quick overview. So as this is the Streamlit title, and then this is the header, filter data, and then here on the left hand side there was a date range, right? So sidebar date input, we are creating the date range sidebar, and then there was one more filter box, right, for the status. So on the left hand side we are creating this one, Streamlit sidebar select box, and the values within the select box will be these. Load data, because whatever these dashboards, right, we are going to get create here, that will be dependent on the raw movie bookings table basically, right? From this particular table, all these statistics we are going to prepare here. So we are simply loading the data from the raw movie bookings, and then we are simply applying the date range filter, because let's say user has applied any date range filter, so that will be that should be used right here in the date range, and from here we will simply read it, right? We will get that filtered date data. And if somebody has selected any specific, you can say somebody has selected any specific status, which is booked, confirmed, and anything like that. So our data frame will be filtered accordingly. Then what we are doing, we are converting it into the pandas data frame. And then after that, we are getting the column names, right, from the pandas data frame. And based on this one, we are preparing these different charts. So ultimately, the left hand side charts or statistics, they are completely depend on the these right hand charts are completely dependent on the left hand filters which we have, because dynamically they have to get adjusted if we are applying custom date range filter, if we are applying custom status filter. So based on that one, it will be changing. So how it is going to happen, let's look at that part. So as soon as anyone is providing the date range or someone changing the status from the left hand side, so based on that one, the raw movie booking data frame we have prepared, it should filter out the values accordingly. It should filter out the values as per the date range. It should filter out the values as per the status as well. And once we do that, after that, you can see we are simply preparing the dashboards. So first is this one. If you go on top, this one, summary statistics, right? This is, and even before that one, filtered data. You can see filtered data and streamlit dot data frame, which data frame we want to represent on the screen, the filtered data frame we have created. Then if filter data frame is not empty, then we need to populate these matrices. So this is the summary statistics subheader, and how we are basically creating this metrics, total bookings. So streamlit.metrics for the total bookings, total revenue, total tickets. So this is how we are creating these summary statistics. And after that, we are basically preparing additional insights with the help of bar chart. So you can see here, Streamlit bar chart, we are feeding it with a data frame. We are creating one more bar chart here, feeding it with the data frame. Then we have another bar chart, feeding it with the data frame, so that dynamically, as per the filter which has been applied right from the left hand side, based on that one, it will keep on changing from here. Okay. So that is how the Streamlit application is working. And let's say you are making some changes or anything, you can again simply run it and your changes will be deployed, and your Streamlit application is active. And if you come back again to Streamlit and you simply open it, you will see it is there. And from the left hand side, you can keep on working on the changes, and your application will reflect all these things in the real time. So let's say if I again go to the booked, so you will see total bookings, revenue, and all these things are getting changed in the real time. So that is how powerfully you can use Streamlit. So that's why I said Streamlit, it is more about to develop your like data-driven applications, right? If you have prepared something now, it is all about, right, whatever data product you want to build. Let's say you are working on a machine learning project or something. For that one, you prepared some data, right? And whatever data is getting generated after the machine learning part, right? Whatever you have applied. So how that is going to get reflected, because ultimately that data is something which will be used, right? Which will be used by the end user, or it will be used on an end product. So how that is going to get reflected? So mostly if you are working on that data science domain, right, you have worked on ML projects and all that, you will see those folks use Streamlit very frequently to basically see their data and AI product which they are trying to build, how that can be accessed, and what kind of things it is returning, what kind of values it is giving. Okay, so that is about the Streamlit. And yeah, with that one, we are done with our Snowflake projects as well. And we have touched upon all important aspects of the Snowflake. And yeah, that is pretty much for it. So I will be providing all these projects, content, data, scripts, whatever I have used. so that you can prepare the projects around the same. You can replicate these projects. And if you want to do any improvisations, feel free to do that. And from the next Saturday onwards, we will be starting with the AWS cloud. Okay. So yeah, make sure you are having your debit card or the credit card. And it's a very, like, you can simply watch any small video, or you can go through with the tutorial, like how to set up a free tier AWS account. It's a matter of few simple steps. So if you are not doing that, not a problem. Uh, I will quickly show you in the next Saturday class how you can set up your free tier account, but make sure you have your debit card, credit card with the international payment enabled, so that because during the setup part, it will ask your card details. Okay. So that's what we will be starting on the next Saturday. So if you have any doubts, feel free to raise your hand, and we can discuss. If you do not have any doubt, feel free to drop off, enjoy your rest of the day, and we will meet in the 2025 in the new year. Cool. Let me see the doubts. Agamjot.
Hi,